Beyond Broken: How Disability Redefines What's Possible. Have you ever noticed how we're conditioned to believe that success follows a specific path? A path with no detours, no unexpected turns, and certainly no wheelchairs or prosthetics. I recently had the extraordinary privilege of interviewing Kimberly Sears, a woman whose journey has fundamentally transformed how I understand human potential. Kimberly isn't just surviving in spaces not designed for her, she's revolutionizing them. Her work as a model, advocate, and voice for the disabled community, particularly Black women with disabilities, has created ripples that are becoming waves across industries that have historically excluded bodies like hers. In 2022, Kimberly lost all four limbs to sepsis. Let that sink in for a moment. All four limbs gone in an instant. Most of us would consider this the end of a story, the tragic conclusion, the moment where dreams get packed away and replaced with more realistic expectations. For Kimberly, it was just the beginning. You see, before her amputation, Kimberly had dreams of modeling. But even then, she faced barriers, not because of any disability, but because of the fashion industry's narrow definition of beauty and representation. Black women were already underrepresented. Then came the amputation. Now, conventional wisdom, that voice society plants in our heads, would suggest she abandon those dreams, find something more realistic, more appropriate. But Kimberly did something revolutionary instead. She doubled down. When they took my limbs, she told me, they didn't take my ambition. They didn't take my voice. And they certainly didn't take my right to be seen. What strikes me about this statement isn't just its defiance, but its profound truth. We've been thinking about disability all wrong. We frame it as a subtraction, a loss, a diminishment of possibility, when in reality, for people like Kimberly, it becomes an addition of perspective, of purpose, of power. The fashion industry didn't know what to do with her. So she showed them. Using platforms like TikTok, she began documenting her recovery journey with raw authenticity. No filters, no pretense, just truth. And something remarkable happened. People responded, not with pity, which is what our culture often defaults to, but with admiration, inspiration, recognition. She secured features with the agencies like ZBD Talent alongside other models breaking norms around visible difference. She broadened conversations about beauty standards while empowering others navigating new realities after trauma. I'm not here to make you comfortable with disability, she told her growing audience. I'm here to make you uncomfortable with how you've excluded us. This isn't just about representation in magazines or on runways. It's about who gets to define what success looks like, who gets to determine what bodies belong in which spaces. And Kimberly isn't alone in this revolution. Consider Dr. Kimberly Y. Kennedy Barrington, who transformed her PTSD from amputation into powerful advocacy work by launching Divas with Disabilities, supporting Black disabled women across America. Dr. Kennedy Barrington recognized a profound truth that at the intersection of race, gender, and disability lies a unique experience that mainstream feminist movements and traditional disability advocacy spaces often overlook. Black women with disabilities, she told me, are fighting invisibility on three fronts. And that invisibility isn't accidental, it's systemic. So, what did she do? She created digital platforms amplifying authentic stories. She developed community events focused on empowerment rather than pity, or what disability advocates call inspiration porn. That tendency to reduce disabled people to motivational objects for non disabled consumption. We're not here to inspire you, She says to audiences, "We're here to join you, to lead you, to partner with you." Dr. Kennedy Barrington built one of the most recognized networks elevating disabled Black women's voices online today. She helped shift industry attitudes toward inclusion, not just tokenism within corporate leadership pipelines. And then there's Princess Kim, a double amputee influencer who uses TikTok to share everything from hair care to humor, normalizing life with prosthetics among young audiences. What makes her approach so powerful is her refusal to frame disability as tragedy. Instead, she combats stereotypes that position people with disabilities as objects of pity rather than full participants in culture, fashion, and life. "My prosthetics aren't the most interesting thing about me," she says with a laugh in one viral video, "but they're part of me, and all of me deserves to be seen." She consistently posts relatable content, showing confidence in style choices while answering hard questions about accessibility head on. She's grown a vibrant online community offering peer support plus practical tips on adaptive beauty routines. Princess Kim started sharing videos out of frustration over lackluster mainstream coverage following her surgery. What she found was resonance worldwide. She's amassed a substantial follower base influencing brands, approaches toward product inclusivity like adaptive clothing lines. Most importantly, she's helped shift public perception by insisting joy is possible and visible, even after major medical trauma. These stories reveal something profound about human resilience. Yes, but they also expose something troubling about how we structure our society, our expectations, and our definitions of success. We've created a world full of unnecessary barriers, then praise those who overcome them as inspirational instead of questioning why the barriers exist in the first place. We've normalized exclusion to the point where inclusion feels like a favor rather than a right. We've accepted a narrative that positions disability as a personal challenge to overcome rather than a social justice issue to address collectively. And in doing so, we've missed out on the extraordinary contributions, perspectives, and leadership that people with disabilities bring to every field they enter. When Kimberly Sears steps in front of a camera, she's not just modeling clothes, she's modeling possibility. She's expanding our collective imagination about what bodies can do, be, and represent. When Dr. Kennedy Barrington builds platforms for disabled Black women, she's not just creating community, she's creating precedent. She's demanding that conversations about inclusion account for the full spectrum of human experience. When Princess Kim shares her daily routines online, she's not just gathering followers, she's gathering momentum for a movement that insists disability be seen not as exceptional, but as a natural part of human diversity. This matters beyond the disability community. It matters for all of us. Because the truth is, most of us will experience disability at some point in our lives, whether through aging, illness, accident, or circumstance. The question isn't if disability will touch our lives, but when and how. And when that moment comes, what kind of world do we want to navigate? One that pushes us to the margins, or one that has been redesigned with the full spectrum of human ability in mind? One that treats our changed bodies as failures, or one that recognizes adaptation as one of humanity's greatest strengths? One that pities us, or one that empowers us? The work of advocates like Kimberly Sears, Dr. Kennedy Barrington, and Princess Kim isn't just about making space for themselves. It's about reimagining what space can be for all of us. So, what can we do with these insights? How do we move from inspiration To action, first, we must examine our own assumptions about disability. Notice when we default to pity rather than partnership, when we see limitation rather than possibility, when we focus on what's missing rather than what's present. Second, we must recognize that accessibility isn't charity, it's justice. It's not about making special accommodations, it's about removing unnecessary barriers that should never have been there in the first place. Third, we must actively seek out and amplify voices from the disability community, not as tokens, but as essential contributors to every conversation about human experience, design, policy, and culture. And finally, we must learn from the profound wisdom that comes from navigating a world not designed for you. Because people with disabilities are master innovators, problem solvers, and adapters by necessity. They've had to be. As Kimberly told me in our final moments together, my disability hasn't made me less, it's made me more, more aware, more determined, more powerful. The question isn't what I can't do. The question is what you'll miss out on if you don't make space for what I can do. I want to leave you with this challenge. Tomorrow, look around your workplace, your community, your social media feeds. Who's missing? Whose perspectives aren't being centered? What voices aren't being heard? And then ask yourself, what am I going to do about it? Because the revolution Kimberly Sears and others are leading isn't just about making room at the table. It's about building a better table, one where everyone belongs, not despite their differences, but because of them. The world doesn't need your pity, it needs your partnership. It needs your willingness to question, to listen, to change, and to champion spaces where everyone can thrive exactly as they are. So take that first step. Reach out, speak up, make space because the future belongs to those who understand that our differences aren't our weakness. They're our greatest untapped strength. Thank you.